Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Donnie, and today we're going to show you how you create waterfall charts or bridge charts in Excel. So first, let's define what a waterfall chart or a bridge chart is. A waterfall chart or a bridge chart is a kind of chart wherein it shows you the flow of amounts over a period of time. You usually see this in stocks, Forex, wherein there's a fluctuation of amounts over a period of time. So what we have here is a very simple version of a waterfall chart or a bridge chart. And you may hear me differentiating between the two. Now, there's actually is a difference. A bridge chart is what you see right now, and it shows you the flow of time or amounts over a period of time, while at the same time showing the start and the end, creating what looks like a bridge. On the other hand, a waterfall chart is only that of the red and green bars. It's a very small distinction between these two kinds of charts. The way that we create them in Excel is quite the same. And speaking of the way that we create them, initially, if you want to create this kind of chart back in the days, you have to modify the table and make it structure it in such a way that it will produce the kind of chart that we want. However, in the most recent versions of Excel, we already now have the insert and then we have the waterfall chart or bridge chart tool automatically available. So you don't have to create this in a manual or tedious way. So you simply have to prepare your data and in such a way that what you have is the January to December. This is the most important one because this is going to comprise majority of your chart. The presence of the start amount and the end amount will vary if you prefer a waterfall chart or a bridge chart. So a bridge chart would usually include them, while the waterfall chart would usually ignore them. So to create a waterfall chart, okay, in Excel, let's start doing this. So first, you have to highlight only the data that you want. So in this case, since I want to first create a waterfall chart, I will ignore the start and the end amounts and just highlight from January to December. And then from here, I'm going to insert, and then I'm going to insert a waterfall chart. And that's it. You already have the default design of the waterfall chart. Take note that we managed to do this because the decreases are in negative amounts and the increases are in positives. So they will reflect correctly in the chart. If you want, you can also change the default colors of the chart, and that is by right clicking on the legend. Because take note, you may be familiar with doing this traditionally in Excel, wherein you just right click on the data point or data series and change the color from there. Take note that if you do this, it will update the color of each of the bars and not just the increases or decreases. We have to remember that the general rule in charts is that every column will only produce one color. So this waterfall chart is like an exemption wherein one column of data produce two colors. However, once you revert to a different color, that rule again, okay, insists that one column should have one color. So there's no automatic way of doing it in this method. You can, of course, change the color of each data point one by one, but that's going to be tedious. Now, the correct way of addressing this issue is using the legend. The legend actually can control the color of the bars or the data points that it represents. So, for example, here we have the increase. We want to change how the increase is colored. I could simply right click on the increase of the legend. You have to make sure to right click on it specifically, not on the entire legend itself. You have to pinpoint or click specifically the increase and then right click and change its color. Now, this is a special capability of legends wherein they also can update the color of the bars they represent. So right now I'm going to click green for increase. And for the decrease, I'm going to change it to red. And again, I cannot just right click on the decrease of the bars. Instead, I will use the legend approach, wherein I will right click the decrease and change it to, let's say, red. So we now have two colors for our chart. And this technically is already a basic waterfall chart. There are some things though that you cannot do, like for example, the total here is still showing up. It's part of the chart to produce this because it's actually expecting a bridge chart, not a waterfall chart. So you cannot really do anything about this. You cannot delete it. You cannot change its font. You cannot hide it. So you simply just have to hide the entire legend, okay, just to get rid of that. Doesn't matter anyway, because if you're going to use some familiar colors like red and green, then your viewers should automatically understand what's happening here. Or you could create a separate legend, maybe along the cells, that explains what the red color means and the green color means. So we now have our waterfall chart. On the other hand, a bridge chart is something else. So let me set this aside. This is our waterfall chart. And now we're going to create the bridge chart. So for the bridge chart, the same technique follows. So we simply have to highlight now this time the entire data set, including the start and the end. So from here, I'm going to go to insert. And then after I insert, I will then create a waterfall chart. So as you could see, we have the same effect. Okay, however, what we have see here is that the totals, the 10,000 and the 15,600 are also now part of the increase simply because they are both positive numbers. So they are being part of the included in the part of the chart, and it doesn't look correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to declare this 10,000 bar and 15,600 bar into total bars. So to do that, we have to right click on them specifically by clicking on them one and then two times. And you have to do it in a very slow manner so that it doesn't produce any adverse effects in selecting those data points. So once you see that you're managing to isolate bars, you can now right click that first start bar, and there's a special option that you can only find in waterfall chart, and that is the set as total tool option found in the right click menu. So this is only found here in this chart, and this will convert that column into a total row. And as you can see, it creates the distinct color of green for the total, as you can see here in the legend. We will also have to do it for the end amount. So we're going to right click on that end amount and change its fill color to, no, sorry, make it total. So right click and then set as total. So now we see here that we have the bridge chart, and the next step should now be something familiar with you, and that is changing the color of the bars for each of these values. So for the increases, I will right click on the legend and change it to green. Take note that just like the waterfall chart, I cannot change the bars themselves because it will change the color of everything in my chart. So I would have to use the legend technique. And this time, I'm also going to change the color of the total into gray. So as you could see, we now have the waterfall chart, the title, okay, again, the legend, okay, as our visual. So as an additional tip, if you notice the negative numbers are showing up as negatives, if you want them to still show up as positive, or not show the negative anymore, we have a separate video for that, but let me do that for you in charts. So let's say here, I will click on one of the data series, the numbers, and you have to change its format over here in the format data labels. Take note that you can make this appear if you don't have that by right clicking on any of the numbers of the data labels and choose format data labels. And from here, you have options to manipulate how it looks like. And the option that we're looking for is the number option, wherein it allows you to format numbers like similar to format cells, wherein you could format it as percentage, date, time, accounting, and so on. But what we need to do in order to hide those negative numbers is use the format code technique, wherein you have to type a certain format code or a syntax that Excel would understand and execute in the data object that you are currently modifying right now, in this case, the data labels. So for this, the format code should be pound sign and then semicolon pound sign. So this means that I have two possible values in uh, my numbers in my object. It's either a positive or a negative. The first one being positive, and after the semicolon, the negative, which is also found using the uh, separated using the semicolon. And now we showing here that the number should show up, but without the negative symbol for the second value. So if the value is negative, then the number will show up without the negative sign. And then we have to click add. And you should now see that the negative numbers or the negative symbols of the negative amounts are now removed from the data labels. So that's it. That's how you can create a waterfall chart or a bridge chart in Excel. I hope this video helped you. And if ever it did, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us a lot in maintaining this. It really encourages us to do more. And if ever you have any questions, feel use the comment section and I'll try my best to answer as soon as I can. But for now, this is it. I hope this video helped you and I'll see you in the next one.